Hello everyone, welcome back to my Let's Replay channel. Once again, this is Andrew T coming at you. And today we're going to be doing our vlog review of StarCrawlers and of Everspace. Now, just to get the elephant in the room out there, I'm having some sound issues with my mic at this point. It has nothing to do with my my equipment. It's that Elgato upgraded their software, and now I don't know what works anymore. And all the YouTube tutorials and everything else are a year or two old and doesn't go with this new software anymore. So all the troubleshooting is way outdated. So I literally had to just uninstall Elgato just to get this video up, because all my sound issues that I had to jury rig to get the videos out don't work whenever I'm just on my webcam. So I just said, forget it, I'll just uninstall Elgato, and now everything's back to my normal settings, default settings, so that's how I can get this video out right now. So disclaimer done, now let's go on to StarCrawlers. Just like before, we do that first, and then we'll go straight on to Everspace for my second review, and then call it a video. So this week, I got this off of GOG.com's free game for spending $15 or more during their Black Friday sale, and the game I got for that sale was Everspace, which we'll go into later. But this was a game that likened to Legends of Grimrock, but with a better overall user interface, storyline, and gameplay. And I know Legend of Grimrock 2 did a lot of great things with their backgrounds and and their quality when it came to the visuals, but I just think this game, the sci-fi setting, and the way they approach the whole aspect of the dungeon crawl is a lot more enjoyable than Legend of Grimrock and Legend of Grimrock 2 were. And I'll be referencing that a lot, just because whenever Legend of Grimrock's kind of like the basis for these dungeon crawling games, where you have a grid-based system, you move one square at a time, they move when you move, and you have a group of however many in your party that you can fight against however many group are in the other person's party. So the one thing I really liked about this is that you have a hub that you get to go to. So you have a bar where you can basically have your inventory stashed for later time if you can't use it. You have your missions there. There's a repair place where you can buy and sell items. You can also upgrade equipment there or make equipment there. There's a medical space where you can either get your hit points back up if they're down, or you can heal any status effects, or redistribute your experience points and perks that you get from those points. So the other thing is the black market. That's right below the bar, like I said before. You can go in there, you can sell company secrets, you can do auctions of those company secrets. You can either sell them outright and not take anyone off, or you can sell them to at least 1 to 3 that I found so far offers, and then from there you can kind of make a decision: is the item worth the hassle, or do I want to just get the money from it? So going from there, you can also buy loot boxes from the black market dealer as well, and just take your chances on them. They'll give you something good. But I really like the aspect of the factions as well. I showed you that a little bit, that I'm really good with one faction, but some of my others I ticked off just because of the decisions I made, either not to take their money or to give their funds to someone else. So I like how you get to go to a mission and lets you know immediately who you're going to tick off and who you're going to get better acknowledgement with for whatever faction you're going on. So there's that. There's also that they give you the experience and the money that's going to be in the mission, and anything gray, green, or orange, that's going to tell you what the difficulty is going to be for your current party and your current layout. So there's no guesswork involved in it. It doesn't level to your tier depending on where you're on the game. It's just like, hey, here are your options. If you want the storyline, that's going to be at the very top. But if you don't think you can make it, or it's going to be too hard, do a couple of these other missions, level up your guys, and then attack it if you want to go through the storyline. So I really like the way this game does that, and that you get to choose how you progress in the game, rather than just, I have to do this, I have to do that, and it's the same puzzles, and it's the same thing every time. In the main story, there may be the same puzzles, but for all the side quests, you can depending on what you have in your party, you can take multiple avenues to complete your missions. Plus, the dialogue in this game is very good. I really like the writing in it. There's no voice acting, but the writing is very quirky, very humor-centric. The engineer, he has a snarky attitude, which I really like. And depending on who you have in your party, they'll sometimes chime in as well during the regular dialogue with your mission carriers. So I really love that, and that it's not just a generic dialogue for protagonist A or B, or male or female. So if I had to give this a score right now, just from enjoyability and everything in between, from the UI, the graphics, everything else, I give it a 7 out of 10. Just because it's not AAA, it's not something that I would recommend everyone to go out right now and buy, because you get it for free if you get it on GOG and spend $15 on another game. But for those who like the genre, kind of like the RPG RPG aspects of it, and the dungeon crawling, and kind of managing your, a very small team, but not having too many stats to keep track of, it's very enjoyable. Just go in, have some fun, do a mission, then just turn it off, come back to it later. It's a great game for that. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend it for people who like the genre. If you're not into it so much, there's nothing here that's going to change your mind. There's a lot of better-looking visually games out there, like Legend of Grimrock 2. It's the same style, looks great, but the gameplay is darn near unplayable just because for the fact that unless you know what you're doing or following the walkthrough, it's pretty much impossible to go through Legend of Grimrock or Grimrock 2 just by intuition. Just either because the monsters will kill you or the puzzles will. So going on to that, we'll go on straight to Everspace. This was a game I actually got for the $15. It was on sale of GOG's Black Friday sale. And I looked up some YouTube videos and Total Biscuit's review of it. And it's a roguelike space sim flight simulator in that you, with an FTL flair to it, in that you always have certain sectors you can go through until you, I guess, get to the end of the game. But unlike FTL, you get to keep all of your money at the end of any any run you take. So you go through the checkpoints. Usually there's during the beginning about 2, maybe 3 or 4 before you get to the next jump point to the next sector. But judging on how you get to those, you always go pretty much an asteroid field unless you get to a special encounter, which I won't spoil here. But yeah, so the asteroids have either wrecks of freighters or large asteroids which have stuff hidden in them. It's kind of like a needle in a haystack, and you kind of have to go through these, not with a fine-tooth comb, but at least do it once over to get minerals or scrap or credits. Usually, every time you get to a new area, you'll have a couple of enemies to fight just for more fuel or credits, or just to, if there's a bandit base there, you may have to take them out if you want to. You don't have to, but you kind of need to in order to progress and get as much stuff as you can before you eventually die and have to restart with hopefully as much money as you can squeeze out of it. And that's one of the great things about this game, is that replayability is very high, in that what you level up as the pilot stays with you the entire game, but what you level up in your ship changes if you get another ship. So I level up my first ship a decent amount. Got some sensor perks for the map, so I kind of know which areas were more difficult and which ones were easier, if I wanted to go that route. Also, the stuff you pick up along the way, you always have an option to either scrap and get for material for crafting, or you can just change it out, because there are higher quality material of the same stuff you have. So in the first ship you have shields and armor, but you kind of have halfway between, and your shields regenerate after a while. The one I have now, the gunship, doesn't have any shields. It just has all armor. So that means that the nanites that you pick up periodically that fix your ship, you have to basically go searching for those a lot when you have the gunship. But if you can't tell, I'm really enjoying the game. I've put a decent amount of time to it so far, even though I got a couple days ago. I've been playing it all weekend. It's very enjoyable. The storyline's pretty good. They put most of the effort into the actual gameplay rather than the cutscenes for the storyline, which is fine with me, because if you've ever played anything that the gameplay makes the game more than and the storyline's good enough to go with it, but it's not, let's just say that it's not a Blizzard level cutscene just to get the story across, but it is it does its job. The voice acting is very good for you and your computer, who kind of guides you through the sectors once you get to a new area, lets you know how the story progresses. And you saw the other woman that dropped off supplies for me in one sector, and we're like, hey, thanks, appreciate it. And don't know who she is. That she just showed up literally the mission before I started my video. So if I had to give this one a score, wow. For the enjoyability, the UI, the graphics, the storyline, good voice acting, good dialogue, great roguelike. Just it does it right in that every time you start over, you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I gotta do that all over again. It's like, all right, now I have all this money, let's put it in and do a little bit better next time. And you know you're doing better every time because you get better at the enemies. You kind of know what to do, the best way to take them down after a while. So you can go through these areas a lot faster than you would before with a crappy ship and bad weapons. So I'd have to give this another one, a 7 out of 10, just because if it was a AAA release and they did it where everything was just, the quality was super high and they had a little bit more put into it, I definitely recommend it for everyone. But for the people that like space sims and like roguelites and like this aspect of the genre, they're going to enjoy it. For some people, they're probably not going to like the controls that much, just because the modern space sim is pretty much like X-Wing or TIE Fighter, in that you go forward and you make these big circling loops to get anywhere, or you're following someone, they're going one way and you're following them on the same path. But this one, you can just stop and turn on any axis you want. So it's more of the descent controls than it is like Wing Commander or X-Wing TIE Fighter or those types of games. Which, if you're motion sick, it may get something to you, but I don't know for sure. But it is very good that I found, and I don't get motion sickness, but I do get nausea after a while for other games that are like a little bit too wavy. And this, I did fine with this. So again, another 7 out of 10. Not for everyone, but for enough people, I definitely recommend if you can want to pick it up, especially for something that's $15 or less on the sale they have going on right now. So hopefully I'm going to reinstall Elgato, and by next week I'll be able to make videos with good sound again. So I apologize for the quality of sound quality of these videos. I believe it's just mostly my mic, but I'll try to figure it out, and hopefully something else will come out for another walkthrough. But until then, thank y'all so much for watching. Once again, this is Andrew T coming at you. What a great day for a replay. Y'all have a good one.